Today, I kind of wanted to go more in depth on my celibate journey and kind of how it came to be. You know, I just think I've realized I'm honestly kind of fearful when it comes to sex and intimacy at this point, and that's not a place I ever thought I would be, or, it's not a place I want to be, but I can't really help how I feel. And I kind of want to talk about what's led up to this because last night I met a friend of my best friend, if that makes sense. And he was kind of asking me about it. He's like, "What's the reason?" And I was like, "Okay, without going too in depth, like, what's the most basic reasoning that I can give this person as to why I'm in this celibate phase, right? Because I've always been a very sexual person. I'm horny. I've always enjoyed sex and getting off and being intimate. I love physical touch and all these things. And I sat there for literally like 20 minutes and I was like, what do I even say to this person? Like, how do I actually feel? And like, what caused this and why am I doing it? Because having a celibate phase was not something I ever chose to do. Like, it just happened. I didn't like wake up one day and go, you know what? I'm just going to be celibate. It kind of started as a joke, like, damn, I'm celibate. Like, I haven't had sex in a month, and now it's going on 7 months. And I'm just like, fuck, man, I really am in a celibate phase. And I feel fine, I will say. But I think that I realized, and I know I've talked about this a little bit in past videos, but I honestly think it's a combination of growth. I think I've matured a bit. And I also think I have just become fearful emotionally when it comes to sex. And I think that's kind of been my downfall is I fear the emotional consequences of sex, especially since it involves another person. And I'm the type of guy who likes to have a connection, even if it's pretty surface level, like I just want to feel like some level of connection. I will feel much more comfortable and enjoy it more if I feel that with somebody who I'm intimate with or sexual with. And, you know, I've also had experiences with people who I felt very comfortable with and had a very deep connection with, and sex just seems to amplify things. And, I'm in a place right now where I really don't want anything serious, and I'm not trying to lead someone on. And, I just don't know if like friends with benefits and fuck buddies really work for me. Unfortunately, like I wish I could have that, but it has been such a struggle to navigate that and find people who are on the same page as me, just to like, have a friend that you can fuck, right? I just feel like that is like wishful thinking. It never really works out for me. And maybe I need more boundaries, and that's another thing I'm learning. I really just don't want to waste anybody's time, and I don't want to waste my own time. And especially after the last guy who was kind of like my friends with benefits slash, it evolved into like a situationship. And the emotional struggles that I went through and dealt with, as well as like, struggles emotionally that I probably caused for this person, um, was not a fun time. Like I was constantly stressed out, exhausted. I remember like, even though we weren't serious, it was like there was still emotional consequences that came with being intimate and having sex and like having a connection. You know what I mean? And even though I communicated that I did not want a relationship and this was just casual for us, it was still just a lot. And maybe it was just with the wrong people. I know I'm also part of the problem, but I think that's all it really is I feel like I am protecting myself and potentially another person by not having sex with anyone. Does that make sense? I know that sounds so weird, but that's how I feel, especially because I feel like I have probably led guys on. I have gotten guys to catch feelings for me. Not that like I wanted that, but it happened. And it does feel good, and like when you feel good, you want to keep doing something. And I feel like there's been a couple situations where I kind of like led people on because it feels good and like it feels good to be wanted. And so right now I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just not in the headspace to even navigate that. And so I think that's the gist of it is like I feel like I'm protecting myself emotionally. And My desire to feel emotionally at peace and abstain from sex just outweighs my desire to have sex and deal with the potential consequences of having sex. Does that make any sense? It's not always that way. I know that there are people who make things like that work and, situationships and friends with benefits or fuck buddies and stuff like that. But I've just had such a bad track record when it comes to that. And I don't know what it's going to take for me to have sex again. I just feel so like deprived of touch and I enjoy it. I like it. I want it. But I'm also like have this mental boundary where it's like I don't allow myself to enjoy it completely anymore and fully and kind of like pursue that, or anything because I think I'm just scared now. Does that make sense? It's really fucking weird. Like, I don't want to give myself to anybody, I think is what it is. Even if it's very casual, like, I just don't want to do that. And I want to protect myself because I think I know myself. And since I'm more of an emotion driven person, I'm a Pisces, I just really don't want to reinsert myself into situations like this where I could come out affected negatively in any way. Does that make sense? I know it's so weird. And I had somebody comment on my podcast on Patreon the other day, and they were like, well, you should just try going to like bathhouses or something and like have super casual sex, so you can like compartmentalize it and whatever, because it's not going to work out the way that, you want it to if you're going around like wanting a connection and stuff. And I get that, but I'm also just not somebody who wants to do that. I think the best thing for me has been to just step away, right? And maybe I'll re-enter, the dating scene, the hookup scene when I feel more like mentally clear and like secure with my emotions, because I just fear falling into that trap of like the emotional satisfaction that comes with it and confusing myself and someone else. And I just don't want to do that, And it also feels like no matter how much I communicate or how honest I am, you can't control how someone else feels. All I can do is control how I feel. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm controlling my own emotions and how I feel. It's really weird and fucked up. And like, I hope I can move past it soon. Maybe I should just go to fucking therapy and talk about it. But it's strange, and I'm just accepting it as part of, where I'm at, my journey. I think part of it's growth, part of it's trauma, and just kind of like realizing this repeated cycle that I kind of was putting myself through and just not wanting to reinsert myself. Does that make sense? So that's about it. I just wanted to talk about it. Anyways, we'll see. I'll update you guys if I ever get someone to fuck me. But till then, I just wanted to overshare a little more. And maybe some of you guys relate. I did have someone on my Instagram message me the other day saying that they went 8 months recently. And I was like, we'll see. I don't know if I'll make it to a year. I don't know if I'll make it to the end of 2026. Like, I hope not. But like, it could happen, I think fear is something that keeps people where they are. And maybe I need to overcome that fear of sex now and like emotions and shit. But I feel like I also just know myself better, and I do think a big part of it has been a learning experience and trying to find the balance with it moving forward. And it's like how much of this decision is logical versus like an irrational fear, Thanks for watching. I just wanted to vent a little bit because being here in San Francisco and going to gay bars and meeting other cute guys. I'm like, damn, like they're really cute. I'd fuck them, but I'm too scared to fuck anyone. So it's weird. I've been in my head about it and just really thinking about it and just wanted to share. But yeah, that's all. Have a good rest of your day, guys, and I will talk to you later.